X-Force is a fictional Marvel Comics superhero team, one of several spin-offs of the popular X-Men franchise, and the eponymous subject of the X-Force comic book series. Conceived by writer-illustrator Rob Liefeld, the team was formed in New Mutants, Volume 1 number 100 and soon afterwards was featured in its own series. The group was originally a revamped version of the 1980s team, the New Mutants. Led by the mutant Cable, X-Force was a more militant and aggressive group compared to the X-Men. The X-Force series was successful in the early 1990s, but its popularity waned after Liefeld left, which caused Marvel to implement several reforms to the title from 1995 until 2001 with varying degrees of success. Low sales on the X-Force series eventually prompted Marvel to revamp the title in 2001 with a new cast in the form of a group of self-interested young mutants who were gathered together by a corporation to become media stars and used the name X-Force. X-Force, Volume 1 was cancelled with number 129 and relaunched as X-Statix, which coincided with a similar rebranding of the team and the story. After X-Statix was cancelled with number 26, Marvel reunited the original X-Force team for a 6-issue 2004 miniseries plotted and drawn by Liefeld. In 2007–2008, during the Messiah Complex crossover, a new version of the X-Force team was formed with Wolverine leading a more militaristic Black Ops branch of the X-Men. This squad would form the basis for a new X-Force series starting February 2008 by writers Craig Kyle and Christopher Yost, plus Clayton Crane as the artist. The series came to a conclusion in September 2010 as part of the Second Coming storyline that ran through various X titles. The title was then relaunched in October 2010 as Uncanny X-Force with Rick Remender and Jerome Opia plus or minus as the creative team and Wolverine, Psylocke, Deadpool, Archangel, Phantom X, and EVA as the initial roster. The Uncanny X-Force series ended at issue number 35 in 2012 was once again relaunched as Uncanny X-Force Volume 2 as part of Marvel Now, with a new team led by Storm and Psylocke written by Sam Humphries. A concurrent X-Force book written by Dennis Hopeless, Cable and X-Force, was released at the same time, bringing Cable back into the X-Force fold. The two series ended in 2014 after a crossover between the two titled Vendetta. A new X-Force was launched featuring a Black Ops squad composed of Cable, Psylocke, Phantom X and Marrow, written by X-Men legacy writer Simon Spurrier. Publication history: X-Force Volume 1, 1991–2001, Liefeld period. X-Force was created by illustrator Rob Liefeld after he started penciling the New Mutants, Volume 1 comic book in 1989 with number 86. The popularity of Liefeld's unregistered trademark art led to him taking over the writing and drawing duties on the book, which allowed him to introduce Cable and several other new hard-edged characters in 1990 and 1991. With help from writer Fabian Nicieza, who provided the dialogue for Liefeld's unregistered trademark plots, Liefeld transformed the New Mutants into X-Force in New Mutants, Volume 1 number 100, the book's final issue. Liefeld and Nicieza launched X-Force, Volume 1 in August 1991. Rob Liefeld obtained the name for the series from an unknown artist at a convention a few months prior to its release. With the aid of a multiple variant polybagged card, the book sold a record 5 million copies, and remains the second highest-selling American comic book of all time, surpassed only by Jim Lee's 10 Men book that same summer with 8 million copies. The original lineup of the team included Boom Boom, Cable, Cannonball, Domino, Feral, Shatterstar and Warpath. In later issues, X-Force's roster would include Siren, Richter and Sunspot. The main opponents of X-Force during its first year were the terrorist Mutant Liberation Front, led by Strifey, a masked mutant with a mysterious link to Cable. Early issues also featured the wisecracking mercenary Deadpool, the Immortal Externals, and a new version of the Brotherhood of Mutants. Propelled by Liefeld's art, X-Force became one of Marvel's unregistered trademark's best-selling comic books immediately after its debut. The series rivaled The Amazing Spider-Man and Uncanny X-Men in popularity, particularly with the adolescent demographic. Toy Biz responded to X-Force's popularity by introducing an X-Force action figure line alongside its X-Men action figure line. Liefeld illustrated the series up to number 9 and stopped plotting it after number 12 as Liefeld had become increasingly frustrated that he did not own the characters he created and that his art was being used on a variety of merchandise while he received little royalties. Along with 6 other popular Marvel artists, Liefeld left Marvel Comics in 1992 to form Image Comics. Mid-1990s, Nyshizer and Loeb, X-Force continued with Nyshizer writing and Greg Capullo illustrating. Nyshizer, who also wrote X-Men, Volume 2, helped plot the Executioner's Songs storyline that overlapped into most X-Men-related books in the fall of 1992. In that story, Strifey frames Cable for an assassination attempt on the X-Men, a unregistered trademark as founder Professor X, leading to a clash between the X-Men and X-Force. The crossover boosted Cable's popularity, despite the character's apparent death in X-Force number 18, leading to his own solo series being launched in 1993. After Executioner, unregistered trademark S-Song, X-Force continued under Nyshizer and Capullo, and later penciled by Tony Daniel. Having temporarily lost their leader, X-Force attempted to develop an identity of their own. The team gradually developed into a dysfunctional family after Cable's return in number 25, and the title regularly combined soap opera plot threads, such as romance and Siren's alcoholism, with violent action. Nyshizer fleshed out previously unknown elements of each character's history, including Siren's family in Ireland, Richter's in Mexico, and Cannonball's in Kentucky, as well as the mysterious origins of Shatterstar. This period also saw the reintroduction of characters from the group's New Mutants days, such as Rusty and Skids, Danielle Moonstar, and Cypher and Wolfsbane. A long simmering subplot about Refner and the disappearance of Sunspot came to a climax just as the book went on hiatus for the Age of Apocalypse crossover event in 1995. Due to falling sales, X-Force emerged from the Age of Apocalypse event with a new creative team of writer Jeff Loeb and illustrator Adam Pollina, who significantly revised the team with issue number 44. Loeb introduced new team uniforms, had the team move in with the X-Men at the X-Mansion, and placed emphasis on character-driven stories with fewer fight scenes. Richter quit the team and Cannonball joined the X-Men. Caliban, a super-strong albino mutant who possessed the mind of a child, joined the team. Loeb's stories included revelations about Shatterstar, a unregistered trademark S origin, and the transformation of Boomer into the more aggressive Meltdown. Fan response was generally positive. Post-Cable period, in 1997, writer John Francis Moore portrayed the team as carefree walkers exploring the open road and had X-Force break away from Cable and the X-Men. The roster of that incarnation was Meltdown, Siren, Sunspot, Warpath, and Danielle Moonstar. In 1998, Moore and new artist Jim Chung had X-Force move to a new headquarters in San Francisco, returned Cannonball and later Domino to the team, and added Bedlam, a mutant who could disrupt electronic equipment. However, towards the end of this run, sales on the title began to fall drastically. Writer Warren Ellis, who was known for his dark, cynical style, revamped 3 books as part of the Revolution revamp of the X-Men series of titles in 2000. Ellis' stint on X-Force, co-written by Ian Ginton and illustrated by Hilche Portacio, saw Bedlam, Cannonball, Meltdown, and Warpath become a cover-up superhero team under the leadership of Pete Wisdom, a British mutant and former intelligence agent who could shoot burning blades of energy from his fingers. Sales remained about the same despite the changes in creators. Cancellation and replacement. In early 2001, the X-Force title was completely reimagined by writer Peter Milligan and artist Mike Ald, who replaced the existing incarnation of the team with an entirely different group of mutants using the X-Force name. In X-Force, Volume 1 number 115, Bedlam, Cannonball, Meltdown, and Warpath all appeared to die in an explosion, though all subsequently returned. The next issue, number 116, saw the introduction of a new, sardonically toned X-Force consisting of colorfully dressed and emotionally immature young mutants put together and marketed to be media superstars. X-Force was cancelled with number 129 in late 2002 and replaced with the retitled X-Static series in late 2002. In 2004, Marvel released a new 6-issue X-Force miniseries, once again plotted and illustrated by Liefeld, with dialogue by Nishiza, that gathered many of the characters featured in the first X-Force, to critical panning yet decent sales. Some controversy arose from Liefeld's insertion of over 10 pages from previous unpublished comic books with word balloons edited to make them fit the X-Force storyline. It was subsequently followed with a 4-issue prequel X-Force, Shatterstar miniseries. X-Force Volume 3, 2008–2010, a new X-Force ongoing series was launched in February 2008, written by Craig Kyle and Christopher Yost and drawn by Clayton Crane. Cyclops forms a Black Ops incarnation of X-Force that uses lethal force to permanently deal with threats against mutants. Warpath, Wolfsbane, Wolverine and X-23 form the starting lineup, with Angel, Domino and Elixir joining soon after. Yost had at one point stated that Deadpool would join the cast to bring more diversity to the team, but this did not happen until after his run and the launch of Uncanny X-Force. Uncanny X-Force. X-Force, Volume 3 was replaced in October 2010 with Uncanny X-Force, Volume 1 by Rick Remender and Jerome Opia ±A. This new series introduces team members Psylocke, Phantom X, and Deadpool. According to Remender, this is a group of characters that have had their souls stained by evil forces in the past, a common thread connecting them. They've already made the hard compromises in the past. They've all taken life. The title had a 3-issue Fear Itself tie-in miniseries, written by Rob Williams, with art by Simone Bianchi. As of issue number 34, 31 characters were killed and 14 of them were from the Age of Apocalypse timeline. Marvel Now. As part of Marvel Now, 2 new X-Force series would replace Remender's Uncanny X-Force. Prior to their announcement, the 2 titles were teased by a single word in the book's creative team, Wanted with Dennis Hopeless and Salvador Larroca and Killers with Sam Humphries and Ron Garney. Wanted was first revealed to be the brand new Cable and X-Force with Killers later revealed to be a relaunched Uncanny X-Force. Cable and X-Force, written by Dennis Hopeless and penciled by Salvador Larroca, featured Cable on the run after awakening from a coma in the post-AVX world. Harkening back to the early days of the original X-Force, Cable would lead an outlaw X-Force team consisting of Domino, Colossus, Forge, Dr. Nemesis and Boom Boom, whose missions of stopping huge tragedies before they happen puts them at odds with the newly formed Uncanny Avengers, led by Cable's uncle, Havoc. The relaunched Uncanny X-Force was written by Sam Humphries and penciled by Ron Garney, and featured a Psylocke-led team with an initial roster of Storm, Puck, and Cluster. They would be joined by Spiral and Bishop as they sought to locate a psychic mutant girl who had been kidnapped. X-Force Volume 4, 2014, as part of the all-new Marvel Now campaign, a new volume of X-Force was launched in February 2014, replacing Cable and X-Force and Uncanny X-Force Volume 2. It features a team of Cable, Psylocke, Phantom X and Marrow, written by X-Men Legacy writer Simon Spurrier. Plot summary, Volume 3, Angels and Demons. The team's first mission has them investigating the theft of Bastion's head from a SHIELD base. The trail leads back to the Purifiers, led by Matthew Risman and the mysterious Eli Bard. They attach Bastion's head to the body of a Nimrod unit, to use the revived Bastion in their holy war against Mutantkind. Bastion retrieves an offspring of the Technic Magus from the ocean floor and revives several deceased X-Men villains, including Cameron Hodge, Bolivar Trask and Graydon Creed, by infecting their corpses with the Technic Transmode virus. The virus allows Bastion a degree of mental control over the revived corpses. He also infects 2 living subjects with the virus, Donald Pierce and the Leper Queen. During X-Force's raid on a Purifier base, Risman holds Wolfsbane hostage. While Wolverine calls for the team to stand down, X-23 decides Risman is bluffing and activates a concealed detonator that sets off a series of powerful explosives. The explosion brings most of the base down around them, but Risman is able to escape with Wolfsbane during the chaos. Wolverine later admonishes Laura for being so reckless with the lives of her teammates and for allowing Ran to be kidnapped. After interrogating and killing numerous purifiers, X-Force finds Ran held in a warehouse, barely alive. Angel retrieves Elixir to heal Ran, who wakes up soon after. Laura then catches the scent of Elixir's and Angel's blood, and runs off to help them. She reaches the room just in time to see Wolfsbane standing above Angel with the severed wings in her jaws. While in the Purifier's custody, Ran had been brainwashed by her deranged father, Reverend Craig, causing her to go berserk at the sight of an angelic figure. Wolfsbane savagely attacks Laura before handing over Angel's wings to the Purifiers. Elixir heals both his and Angel's wounds, then discovers that Angel's wings aren't organic and can't be regrown. Angel transforms into Archangel, complete with metallic wings. Archangel wounds Wolverine and X-23 before taking off toward the Purifier's base, sensing his old wings. Meanwhile, the Purifiers use samples of Angel's stolen wings to develop techno-organic wings for their soldiers, giving them similar abilities to Archangel. The group of Purifiers given wings is dubbed the Choir. X-Force pursues Archangel to the Purifier's base and slaughters most of the Choir, while Risman discovers Eli Bard absorbing the Technic offspring into his hand. X-23 kills Risman with a headshot, and briefly fights Eli. Eli overpowers her, but is prevented from killing her when Warpath stabs him, causing him to flee. Wolverine takes on Bastion, who deems the threat posed by Wolverine unacceptable, and retreats. Afterwards, X-Force finds Archangel unconscious and in human form, complete with feathered wings. Wolverine informs Cyclops of the turn of events, and Cyclops asks which of X-Force's targets should be next. Old Ghosts. Once X-Force regroups at Angel's Eyrie, they test the reactions of Ran and Angel to one another. Ran reverts to full feral form upon seeing Angel, who responds by transforming into Archangel. Wolverine and Elixir restrain Wolfsbane while Cyclops talks down Archangel, who has trouble controlling his apocalypse-like mentality while in his transformed state. Laura calls in the Stepford Cuckoos to erase Elixir's memories of X-Force, to help them remain covert. Before they do so, Angel informs them of a live telecast featuring Graydon Creed, who claims an LMD was assassinated in his place and publicly denounces mutants once more. Cyclops assembles X-Force, including Elixir, and unexpectedly declares the Vanisher as their next target. It is revealed that Skullfunter, a former Marauder, contacted Cyclops about a break-in at an old lab of Mr. Sinister that held an altered version of the Legacy virus. While in pursuit of the Vanisher, the team runs into Domino, who joins forces with them to recover the Legacy virus. After cornering Vanisher and inducing an inoperable brain tumor to ensure his cooperation, Vanisher reveals he lost the virus while escaping from a horde of Marauder clones that were awakened after the death of Sinister. X-Force returns to the lab and kill the cloned Marauders inside. Domino retrieves the virus, only to be confronted by the Wright's shock troopers, who have come to take the virus for themselves. X-23 is injected with the virus while doing battle, and runs toward a nearby molten vat to destroy herself. Elixir catches Laura as she jumps, and uses his healing powers to purge her of the virus, declaring that his purpose in X-Force is to ensure no more of his friends will die. With Vanisher in tow, X-Force returns home. Meanwhile, Warpath returns to his tribe's reservation at Camp Verde to visit his brother's grave, but discovers the empty graves of his entire tribe before being violently attacked by the Demon Bear. Just as he's about to be killed, Warpath is saved by Ghost Rider, who offers to teach him how to kill a demon. After engaging the Demon Bear in battle once more, Ghost Rider realizes the demon is reacting to pain caused by a dagger embedded in its body. Once Warpath removes the dagger, the demon is revealed to be the spirit guides of Warpath's tribe, corrupted by the black magic of the dagger. These spirits grant Warpath a vision that reveals the history of the man responsible for digging up the graves of his tribe, Eli Bard. Warpath returns home and tells X-Force what the spirits showed him, which ends with the revelation that Eli is using the Technic transmode virus to revive dead mutants as an offering to his queen, Selene. Soon after, Beautiful Dreamer mysteriously dies after losing control of her powers and killing hundreds of civilians. Cyclops realizes this was likely caused by the mutated legacy virus, and assembles X-Force to deal with the situation. Cyclops also reveals he's in the process of tracking down Cable, and gives each of them a time travel device that will be remotely activated when Beast determines Cable's exact location in the time stream. Fever Pitch loses control of his powers soon after, resulting in a similar massacre. While escaping the explosion, Archangel spots the Leper Queen and informs Cyclops. Once Boom Boom, Hellion and Surge are kidnapped, the Stepford Cuckoos use Cerebra to track them down. Hellion and Surge are injected with the altered legacy virus and teleported out just as X-Force storm the Leper Queen's base. As Wolverine questions the Leper Queen, Cyclops informs him that Cable has been found and X-Force is being sent after him. Despite Wolverine's protests, Cyclops activates the time travel devices, sending X-Force forward in time before they can kill the Leper Queen. Messiah War. X-Force is involuntarily sent to the future to retrieve Cable and Hope. The landscape is a barren, ravaged area, and the team quickly encounters danger. Apocalypse has been defeated, and Strife controls this future. X-Force and Cable struggle to save Hope from Bishop and Strife. Not Forgotten takes place directly after X-Force's return to the present. X-23 emerges from the time stream just in time to save Boom Boom from being killed by the Leper Queen. Seconds after she kills the Leper Queen, both she and Boom Boom are taken into custody by agents of HAMMER. At the United Nations, Hellion and Surge are rescued from the Sapien League by Wolverine, Archangel and Elixir. Boom Boom is freed from HAMMER custody by Warpath, while X-23 is returned to the facility. She wakes up to find her left arm severed by Kimura, wielding a chainsaw. Before she can cut off the right arm, Kimura is shot by Agent Morales. Agent Young is revealed to be a member of the facility that infiltrated HAMMER. To acquire the intel that Morales had on X-23. When Young tries to recruit Morales into the facility, she rejects his offer by beating him unconscious. In the present, X-23 and Morales make their way to a facility lab that holds mass amounts of the chemical trigger that forces X-23 to kill. While inside the room, X-23 cuts the claws out of her severed arm and gives them to Morales for safekeeping. She lights a Molotov cocktail of sorts which sets the sprinkler system off. The facility soldiers finish cutting through to Laura just as Kimura realizes the sprinklers are spraying the trigger scent everywhere. X-23 goes feral and kills all the soldiers in her way. She gets to the facility head's office just as the sprinklers start spraying water, washing away the scent. Kimura manages to club Laura from behind and then kills the facility head, planning on framing Laura for it. Agent Morales arrives and sets Kimura on fire to distract her while she and Laura make her escape. Morales reveals she rigs the place to explode and they get out in time. The rest of X-Force arrives and takes Laura and her severed claws home, leading into the events of Necrosha. X-Force is involved in the battle against Selene's resurrected mutant forces on Utopia, until Cyclops sends them to Genosha to kill Selene. They arrive at Necrosha and manage to rescue Warpath, who then leads them in battle against a god like Selene, and manage to kill her using an old ritual of Warpath's tribe. Wolverine tells Cyclops that Warpath, X-23, Wolfsbane and Elixir are out of the team, but Cyclops insists that X-Force will be needed more than ever in the time ahead. X-Men, Second Coming. X-Force is joined by Cable and Cypher on a time-traveling mission to stop an invasion of Nimrods sent from a possible dystopian future. As Cable only has one use remaining on his time-traveling device, it is believed to be a one-way suicide mission. After they complete their mission and Cable sacrifices himself to return X-Force to the present, Hope's mutant powers emerge and she destroys Bastion. After the battle, Logan is confronted by Storm about X-Force. She tells Logan that he never should have involved James, Ron and Laura, and Logan tells her that he never wanted them involved, but doesn't regret what they did. Logan tells Laura that she's out and to figure out what she wants from life. Afterward, Logan discusses the future of X-Force with Cyclops, who decides to disband the team. Logan meets with his new team a short time later, consisting of himself, Archangel, Phantom X, Psylocke and Deadpool, deciding to run a new X-Force team without the knowledge of Cyclops or the other X-Men. X-Force Roster, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Creators, Writers, Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 1 a Euro 12 and Volume 2 Number 1 a Euro 6, Fabian Nicieza, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 1 a Euro 43 and Annual Number 1 a Euro 3 and Volume 2 Number 1 a Euro 6, Jeff Loeb, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 44 a Euro 61, John Dokes, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 62, John Francis Moore, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 63 a Euro 76 and Number 78 a Euro 100, Joseph Harris, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 77 and Number 101, Warren Ellis and Ian Edginton, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 102 a Euro 105, Ian Edginton, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 102 a Euro 115, Peter Milligan, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 116 a Euro 129, Craig Kyle and Christopher Yost, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 1 a Euro Number 28, C. Spurrier, X-Force, Volume 4 Number 1 a Euro, Art, Rob Liefeld, X-Force. Volume 1 Number 1 a Euro 7 and Number 9 and Volume 2 Number 1 a Euro 6, Mike Mignola, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 8, Mark Paisler, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 10 a Euro 13, Terry Shoemaker, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 14, Greg Capullo, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 15 a Euro 25, Matt Broom, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 26 a Euro 27 and Number 29 Tony Daniel, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 28, Number 30 a Euro 36, Number 38 a Euro 41 and Number 43. Paul Pelletier, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 37, Adam Paulina, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 44 a Euro 81, Jim Chung, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 82 a Euro 84, Number 86 a Euro 88, Number 90, Number 94 a Euro 95 and Number 98 a Euro 100, Hilche Portatio, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 102 a Euro 106, Mike Ald, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 116 a Euro 123 and Number 125 a Euro 128, Darwin Cook, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 124, Duncan Fegredo, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 129, Clayton Crane, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 1 a Euro 6, Number 11 a Euro 16 and Number 21 a Euro 25, Mike Choi, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 7 a Euro 10, Number 17 a Euro 20 and Number 26 a Euro 28, Alina Yurusov, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 11, Rocky Kim, X-Force, Volume 4 Number 1 a Euro, Cover Art, Rob Liefeld, X-Force. Volume 1 Number 1 a Euro 9 and Number 11 in Number 50 and Number 100 variants, Greg Capullo, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 15 a Euro 27, Hilche Portatio, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 102 a Euro 109, Mike Ald, X-Force, Volume 1 Number 116 a Euro 128, Clayton Crane, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 1 a Euro 6, Number 11 a Euro 13, Number 14 a Euro 16 and Number 21 a Euro 25, Brian Hitch, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 1, Mike Choi. X-Force, Volume 3 Number 7 a Euro 10 and Number 17 a Euro 20, Carr Andrews, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 14 a Euro 16, Odi Granov, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 26 a Euro 28, David Finch, X-Force, Volume 3 Number 26 a Euro 28, Member Series, Angel Number 1, Angel, Revelations Number 1 a Euro 5, Cable, Volume 1 Number 1 €107 and Annual 95 €99, Cable, Volume 2 Number 1 €25 and King Size Number 1, Cable and Deadpool Number 1 €50, Cable, Blood and Metal Number 1 €2, Deadpool Volume 1 Number 1 €69 and Annual 97 €98, Deadpool Volume 2 Number 1 Present, Deadpool Core Number 1-12, Deadpool, Merc with a Mouth Number 1-13, Deadpool Team Up Number 899-883, Domino, Volume 1 Number 1 €3, Domino, Volume 2 Number 1 €4, Psylocke and Archangel, Crimson Dawn Number 1-4, Psylocke Number 1-4, Shatterstar Number 1-4. Wolverine, Volume 1 Number 1 €4, 300 Present, Wolverine, Volume 2 Number 1 €189 and Annual 96 €00, Wolverine, Volume 3 Number 1 €74 and Annual Number 1 €2, Wolverine, Volume 4 Number 1 €20, Wolverine, Origins Number 1 €50 and Annual Number 1, Wolverine, The Best There Is Number 1 €12, Wolverine, Weapon X Number 1 €16, Collected Editions. Various stories and series have been collected into trade paperbacks, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4 Awards Issues Number 57 €58 of the first series were part of the Onslaught storyline, which was a top vote-getter for the Comics Buyer's Guide Fan Award for Favorite Comic Book Story for 1997. The original X-Force, before the team best known as X-Force debuted, Marvel introduced an unrelated, little-known group also called X-Force. It was a short-lived group that was designed to replace Freedom Force. The members were not mutants, but received their powers artificially and were named after the X-Men. This group was organized by a government agency known as M Branch and only appeared in the pages of Cloak and Dagger Number 9 €10. Toy Biz X-Force Toys. In 1992 Toy Biz began releasing X-Force action figures. The toy line featured a variety of X-Force and X-Men characters, including heroes G.W. Bridge, Cable, Caliban, Cannonball, Domino, Grizzly, Kane, Quark, Richter, Shatterstar, Sunspot, Warpath, and Extreme and opponents Avalanche, Blob, Black Tom Cassidy, Commando, Comcast, Deadpool, Exodus, Forearm, Genesis, Gideon, Killspree, Cruel, Mojo, Nimrod, Pyro, Slayback, and Strifey. Other versions, in the alternate reality of the Days of Future Now storyline, the X-Force consists of Banshee, Black Tom Cassidy, Cannonball, Domino, Meltdown, and Omega Red. In other media, television, X-Force is mentioned for the first time outside of the comics in the anime series Marvel Anime, X-Men. In the second episode, Professor X briefly mentions that X-Force has encountered the U-Men. No other information is given about the team, other that they gave the X-Men all their intel about the villains. Film, 20th Century Fox are in development for a film version of X-Force. On July 11, 2013, it was reported that Jeff Wadlow has been hired to write the adaptation, with chances that he will also direct. Lauren Schuler Dunner will produce. On December 3, 2013, Rob Liefeld confirmed that Cable and Deadpool would be appearing in the film. Video games, the team appear in Deadpool's ending in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They are shown celebrating Deadpool's victory over Galactus alongside Cable, Bob, Agent of Hydra and several Capcom characters. Miscellaneous, in April 2010, the popular webcomic Homestar Runner featured a parody titled Xrayli Forks, in which all but one of the site's characters were redesigned to look like X-Men. References. External links, X-Men comics on Marvel.com, X-Force, Volume 2 Number 1, Comics Buyer's Guide Fan Awards, X-Force at the Comic Book DB, 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 Uncanny X-Force at the Comic Book DB.